Hi, everybody. Welcome to the WedgeCast. I am sitting here today with a good friend, Dr. Steve Griffin. He is the Chief Operating Officer and the president of a company called ThinkWise. A lot of times in life, you want to surround yourself with the smartest person in the room. Steve's kind of the guy who, no matter what, always is the smartest person in the room. And
Thank
he's
you.
become a good friend. And the funny thing is, you hear about like LinkedIn, the whole intention of LinkedIn is to connect people. Well, the fun thing is like Steve and I literally met over LinkedIn, connected in person quite a few times, and quite frankly have just become like friends since. We have a love for Chick-fil-A. We have a love for just a wide range of things as well. We're probably not the only two people, but anyways, he's been a
Right.
blast to get to know. So I'm thrilled to have him on the show. So Steve, do you want
Thank
to
you.
just give a little bit of a background, just maybe what you got your PhD in, and kind of what ThinkWise in general does, and just kind of your passion for this space in general?
Yeah, you bet. And thank you, Matt, for having me. Just a little bit about myself. I have a doctorate in psychology. I'd say my background is largely actually in software development and technology, specifically within human capital management. I started off my career in consulting, and then over time, kind of tripped into, hey, what are these tools that we're using, and can I build them? Can I tinker? Right? Does that?
I love the term tripped in.
Yeah.
That's such a loaded statement, which is awesome.
Hey, we have 20 minutes, right? So, so speaking of tripping into this, I like to tinker, and within the world of consulting, you usually don't have all of those opportunities because you have to operate within the paradigm of what your engagement requires of you. And when I was able to start getting into technology and start leveraging my background in psych and my desire to kind of build, I was able to leverage a lot of the software tools that were out there and really found myself in a niche and starting off around the hiring world,
Yeah.
pre-employment, and working with various government and municipalities, for-profit entities. And I started just to grow a network of, like yourself, you just surround yourself with some smart people. And I didn't know a lot. So I started getting into the technology side, but trying to understand what were the real needs of the businesses that were out there. And again, it was both from the for profit and then the government side. So, talking to a lot of different entities out there, started understanding and realizing that the technology is available. It is not being built to be used on an everyday capacity by, starting at the top with executives down to hiring managers, and then the recruiters not having the right tools either. They're not being told who are the right people that they need
Right.
to then go source those folks. And I started just getting into that world, and that's probably how I started, and really haven't turned back.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, for the listeners, Steve comes at things from a very unique standpoint. One, from just like an insane understanding of psychology. Secondly, coming at things from a consulting standpoint. And third, also being a tool and, quite frankly, a provider to hiring managers. So, you see it from not necessarily just as much within it, but also like servicing those and understanding people and hiring decisions and like the structure of things. And that's why I think it was so fascinating to have you on this. And so, with that, like, what would you say, Steve, in the last year, 6 months, are different hiring trends, different, just overall, yeah, I guess, direction of the way things are going, good or bad, that maybe weren't around when you got your doctorate, or maybe weren't around within the last few years? So, what are you seeing?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's probably less about having a singular view about I have a great tool, let me go sell it. It's really having this holistic, systemic view of what are the large scale problems that people are having, and then making sure they have the right tools second. Right. So I would say
And that's
the
probably where the
trends.
consulting comes in first before the product sale. If I would,
Yeah, yeah, and you know what? It's a habit of mine too, but it also slows things down. Stay at the
too
front.
smart for your own good sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. So you do the balance, the marketability of a product, selling it, and then making sure the customer's happy.
Yeah.
That's more important to me. So I'd say on the short term versus long term trends that I've seen is that it doesn't matter how big, important, or flashy a business is anymore. Well, we'll remain nameless in some companies, but it's the bigger brands that you see. You may be wearing them, right? Or when you leave and drive down the street, you see big brands, down the highway. It's not about people wanting to go rush their door to be attached to them anymore. it's really about a relationship. And I
Yeah.
think that's kind of new, maybe just in the past year or so, is what's the relationship I can have with my employer? What are they going to provide me, and what is it that I can give back and value back to them? And it happens to be that kind of reciprocal relationship that I think older generations, even when I started, we didn't think about. When I started, is let me give every blood, sweat, and piece of brain cell I have, so that someone finds value in me,
Yeah.
right?
Sure.
It's a very different mindset, and now it's companies have to figure out what's their value proposition,
Right.
whether they're providing a service to the community or not, in the sense of a tool or a product. They have to sell that business. Recruiters have to sell a business to a population of people, and that's different for them. They're
Yeah.
not used to doing that. They're used to opening up an applicant tracking system and seeing maybe thousands of people to filter
And then you
through,
just got to filter through them all. Yeah. Very
and they don't
different.
know who they are.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
And I think that's probably the biggest thing that I think is going to help a business if they take that on and transform their recruiting team to, one, source, not recruit, and two, learn to sell the business on what the relationships can be and how that person can grow.
Yeah.
Everyone is looking to grow when they get to a company. They're not looking to complete Monday so that Tuesday happens.
Right.
I
Right.
think they're starting to think more long term of where is it I can grow inside here,
Hmm.
and that's where you see applicants